Tell me about Alaska.
Dan.
Well, Alaska is quite a place. It's the home of Annie Fight and Dave Bass. They took us out, they showed us around Anchorage, and then Cordova. Woo!
Yeah.
Alaska is amazing. If I had to use one word to describe it, it's untamed. Everywhere the eye can see, there's untamed, big white mountaintops, big ass mountains, and it's just absolutely incredible. Bald eagles flying around like pigeons, and sea otters playing in the ocean. It's a place that I think we'll all definitely return to.
I just say it's so vast because we're flying from Anchorage to Cordova. You're flying over these mountains, and I mean it's just infinitive. You know, it's just unbelievable. All the mountains and the snow, and it's incredible. It's just
And there's
it's
no
cool.
habitation or
There's
nobody living there.
living out there. Yeah.
As we were flying from Anchorage to Cordova, I was dreaming about, well, which mountaintops are we going to be on in terms of the dropping in on the heli? And there were so many of them. There's, there was no way to know which one it was going to be.
And why were we flying to Cordova?
To heli ski at Points North.
And
where
because
Points
you
North
can't
is.
drive to Cordova.
That's correct. Yeah.
You gotta fly.
You got to fly or take a boat.
One way in, airport, well, two ways, or by sea.
We decided to fly.
What's the password?
Oh, 1238. All right, next.
The next
Oh,
question.
good.
Questions went away.
Yeah.
What was the most thrilling or frightening moment heli skiing and why?
Okay, well, I'll pipe in on that one because for me it was the first day when we got up in the helicopter and we were just approaching the top of the first peak that we were going to ski on, and we're landing on a table not much larger than this one here, with 6-foot cornices hanging off on every side that we could see, and
That
about
was bullseye.
70% vertical on the sides that we were approaching, and
Yeah.
thinking to myself, what did I get myself into here, and how am I going to get down?
I had a similar scary experience, but it wasn't the first one on bullseye. It was the second day where the visibility wasn't good, and one where I don't know if it was based on where I was sitting in the helicopter, but I couldn't see any land underneath where we were landing. So I didn't know if we were landing on anything solid, or we were just going to sink in, or we were going to fall off based on an avalanche.
The thrill of Jimbo coming up to us about 8:30, 8:45, saying, we're going to be the first ones out the first day. And then getting in the helicopter and flying out over the bay, up into the mountains and going, holy shit, what did we get ourselves into? Landing on this mountaintop, like Scotty described, about the size of this table here, and going, getting out, and there's a whole incredible process of loading and unloading, and we'll get into that, but then standing there on the edge of this peak going, wow, this is something. And then Jimbo skis down maybe halfway and radios up and says, okay, next guy come down, ski to me. And you're skiing and you're like, where's Jimbo?
Where's
so
that?
far. And oh, it was just incredible. It was really, the snow was pristine, I'd have to say.
Well, for me, we had, I think it was probably like day 3, and we were on the top, and Jimbo skis down and goes, okay, ski, and you can't see anything. It's just like there's a cliff. I'm going, really? It really?
All right, Bob.
But it all worked.
Come on down.
What was the skiing and snow like?
The snow was amazing. The skiing was fantastic. I think getting out of that helicopter, and the helicopter takes off, and all of a sudden you're alone and it's real quiet. You're alone with your buddies and with your guide, and it's not a resort. There's no other people around. It's just you and your skis and the mountain, and you realize that if something goes bad, it can go bad really quickly. But you look down and all you can see is virgin untracked powder all the way down for probably miles, and skiing that was just the most incredible experience I've ever had.
Yeah, it was all powder. There was no groom runs, of course. So the fact that you had all powder all the time was the most fascinating and fun thing about it. It wasn't as fluffy, powdery as Utah or like Bridger Bowl's Cold Smoke, but the powder was deep and it was fresh, like almost every day. And I remember one point or a couple of points where Jimbo said, "Don't stop right there on the mountain. That's not a good spot to stop. If you can, push it all the way out there, Bernsey." And and you're so tired skiing the powder that you need a break in the middle. So Jimbo got used to telling us, "Here's your break spot before you need to ski it out all the way on top of the glacier."
Yeah, your legs are burning. You're skiing in untracked powder. It's a bluebird day. There's no wind. It's about, 25, 30 degrees. You just like, this is skiing nirvana. It was incredible. I want to go back. We got to go back.
That was great. And one of the deals was don't cross any tracks. So you just are always in your own track, and that was super marvelous.
Yeah, there was a penalty for crossing tracks. Yeah, if you cross somebody's tracks, it was a beer for Jimbo.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And in the back of your mind, you're looking down and you're thinking, you're excited and nervous, and you're just wondering a little bit, is this the last ski run I ever might take? But then you start skiing and all that nervousness goes away and you're in pure ecstasy all the way down to the bottom of the glacier.
What's it like to go on the heli for the first time?
Well, that was very fun. Again, a big sort of an operation. Get your skis together, stay really low into the helicopter, jump in, get your belt on fast, make sure that everything is set, everything is down, and then you take off. You're up, and it seemed quiet to me. I can't remember if it was quiet, but it was just beautiful because you're up high, you're seeing the mountains. And then you land and it's snow everywhere because the blades are hitting the snow, and then you got to get out fast, stay down low.
Unload all
Our
the stuff.
guy dumps all the skis onto the thing, and then the helicopter's gone. It seems like in about 5 seconds, and then it's quiet.
At Points North, they call the helicopters magic carpets, and while you're flying along, that's what it feels like, because you're just flying through the tops of these beautiful snow-capped peaks. And the one thing I remember about the helicopter is, when you're getting ready to go out on the helicopter, there's all these safety rules, as Dan talked about, and you practice getting in and out of the helicopter. But then when the helicopter comes to pick you up after you've skied down to the glacier, there's no practice, and this helicopter comes in and is flying literally right over your head, puts down 6 inches from your nose. It's like a Class 5 hurricane comes in and blows the hell out of you. So all that safety goes out the window. And
Well,
you
that's
just
why
huddle up and pray to God that you survive it.
Well, that's why he said one of the rules is eyes on. You got to make sure your eyes are on the copter so he doesn't land on top of you.
You definitely want to have your goggles on when that chopper comes in.
That's right. That's right.
But by the second to the last run of the third day, you finally got it down where it's a pretty good, smooth operation. So.
There were a lot of rules, and we each had to help each other with our seat belts and don't kick the pilot and
Stomp it out the pad.
stomp it out the pad.
PPZ.
Yeah.
What was your favorite non-skiing part of being at Points North?
Okay.
Well,
I
that
had
was a
two.
lot.
Yeah.
I had two. First of which was, I think, just at the end of the day, after everybody had been out all day long heli skiing and everybody made it back alive, thankfully, from all the groups. During dinner, when people are having some cocktails, talking about all the incredible runs that he just did off some of the most amazing peaks in the world, was just a real highlight of the trip, I think. And then, secondly, we probably all have to agree on the down days. One of the down days specifically, going out with Spoon Man and shooting some basically automatic weapons into explosives was quite an adventure.
Right.
So.
Our pyrotechnician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can we forget the pro shop?
Oh, yeah. Buddy Love.
No.
Buddy Loves
Yeah.
Pro Shop. Some great photos of times we had there. And
Yeah.
we were a select few
I know.
that have been to
You
the
have to
Pro
be
Shop.
invited.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And we have to go back.
Deemed worthy, I guess. But yeah, I think this coming back and you got these long dinner tables and basically sit down with whoever you want to sit down with and they're from all over the world, and how was your day, and just the conversation around all the skiing, and I mean, you've got professional photographers from New Zealand you can talk to, and they're up there filming European snowboarding champions, and it's really something. The people you meet, they're Australians, and I don't know, a lot of Europeans, and what do they say, South Africans, and
Yeah.
so it was quite a mixed group. I think the Americans were probably in the minority.
Yeah.
There, so.
Well, you mentioned two of the things that I thought were some of the funnest things on the non-skiing events, and that was the after in the Nevco with all the people, the talking that they did after dinner, where the professional photographers actually showed us some of their work. That was really
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keoki and Buddy Love giving us the pro shop tour. But there was one particular moment, I wonder if you guys remember, when the Aussies showed us how to do the shots, one-person shot ski.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That was
How does
kind
one
of
person do a shot ski
without spilling.
without spilling?
We don't know the secret, but we can't divulge that.
We're not going to divulge it.
Bring that back to
Yeah.
Points North and try it next time.
You'll have to.
Come on, give us a little hint or something. Tell us about Buddy Love.
Well, Buddy's a real big guy. He's a fisherman. He's in like 3 or 4 of the Points North videos.
Warren
Warren
Miller
Miller
films.
Or I mean, yeah, the one.
He's the unofficial mayor of Cordova, Alaska. And he's been ridden hard and put down wet several times.
Yeah. He's on his
He
ninth
weighs
flight.
us all, I think, combined.
Yeah.
But he's a true gentleman and scholar. And we look forward to maybe getting back there sometime to his pro shop. Right?
That's right.
He was quite the character. He was,
I think when we schedule our next trip, we'll have to let Keoki know to see if he can come that same week, and then we can get in.
Well,
Sure.
Yeah.
you've heard of the man cave? He has a man cavern.
What's it look like?
Every surface is written on by people that have been there, and including us. We,
Yeah.
we left a
Their
short
autographs.
message from the jammers. There were weapons involved, some...
There's always weapons involved in Alaska.
Especially Cordova, where they're landlocked.
That's right. You got to have weapons. Who knows when those Ruskies are coming over?
They're in the backyard.
That's right. You can see them from here.
Hey, what about we haven't talked about our guide much, Jimbo,
Yeah.
as well as Kevin and Jessica Quinn.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say about them?
Well, the other thing I was going to mention is one of my favorite things about the non-skiing events too was just Kinley in the mess hall in the Nevco, and how much she interacted with like Jimbo every night at dinner, where they were just bantering back and forth. It was fun to have a 2-year-old hanging out there partying with us.
yeah.
Well, I certainly thank Jimbo because he kept us all from dying.
Yeah.
And did a good job at that. We had a great time with him. He was cautious enough for us that, as I said, he was able to keep us safe. He challenged us one time to go climb up some ungodly peak that we declined. So we might have held him back a little bit, but we did our best to keep up with Jimbo, and hopefully when we go back to Points North, we'll see him again. And then Kevin Quinn, great host for us, both Kevin and Jessica. I think in the morning time, going in early, it's still kind of dark out. You go in there and you see Kevin scouring over the weather maps,
Yeah.
and you get a feel right away as to whether you think you're going to be out or not. And more often than not, you get a thumbs up from Kevin and off you go. So awesome. We're coming back in 2015.
That's right.
2015! Woo!
A short year and a half away. So,
Good
yeah.
place to quit.
All right.
So
All
what's the,
right,
what's
Points
the,
North.
okay.
Cut.
So I think we should hear you guys do sort of a, just in case you need that in the footage, a little background. Sort of like a Wayne's World.
If we just push them against the side.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
And we also heard that Points North somehow burned up the shot ski in a campfire one night after we left. So we're in the
have to bring one
process
back.
of making a new one, which we will bring back in person next time we're up there. So that's a message for Jimbo as well as Quinter and Jessica. We'll be back.
So Dan, I think you should sing a little of your powder song, just for background. You know, just.
Yeah, looks like they've left room for one more track.
We'll take your word for it.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Cattle call.
Okay.
Okay.